Hey everyone! Today, we're going to dive into one of the most beautiful and touching short stories ever written, O. Henry's The Gift of the Magi. For over a century, this really simple tale about love and sacrifice has left this incredibly powerful mark on just about everyone who reads it. So what is it? What makes it so special and so enduring?
Well, this is the central puzzle of the story, right? It's a whole tale built around an exchange of gifts that are, let's be honest, completely and totally useless from a practical standpoint. And yet, we celebrate it as this profound story of ultimate wisdom. So how can both of those things possibly be true?
All right, so let's set the scene. Meet Jim and Della. They're young, they're so deeply in love, and they're living in this tiny New York apartment with basically no money at all. It's Christmas Eve, and after months of saving every single penny, all Della has to her name is $1.87. So the question they're facing is, well, it's a timeless one, isn't it? How do you show someone the incredible depth of your love when you have almost nothing to give?
Their solution, well, it takes us right to the heart of the story. It's all about the true price of love. And as we're about to see, that price isn't measured in dollars and cents. It's measured in sacrifice.
Okay, so check this out. Their sacrifices are just perfectly, tragically symmetrical. Della's greatest pride in the whole world is her magnificent, cascading hair. So to buy a gift that she feels is worthy of Jim, she sells it, all of it. And she uses the money to buy a beautiful platinum chain for his most prized possession, his gold watch. Now, at the exact same time, Jim sells that very watch, a precious family heirloom, to buy a set of gorgeous combs that Della has been dreaming of for her long hair.
And you really have to understand, these weren't just nice things they owned. Back then, a woman's long hair was a huge part of her beauty, her identity in the world. And Jim's watch? That wasn't just for telling time. It was a connection to his family, a symbol of his heritage. So they weren't just giving up possessions, they were literally sacrificing a piece of themselves.
So this perfect mirrored sacrifice leads us directly to the story's famous twist, an exchange that is both completely ironic and, in the end, absolutely priceless.
Now, to really appreciate what happens next, you got to know about something called the O. Henry ending. This author, O. Henry, he was famous for these sharp, ironic plot twists that just completely reframe the entire story. They reveal a deeper truth that you just didn't see coming. And The Gift of the Magi might just be the most perfect example he ever wrote.
And here it is, the big twist. When they finally exchange their gifts on Christmas Eve, the irony is just crushing. Jim has sold his watch, which makes Della's beautiful, expensive chain totally useless. And Della has cut off all her hair, making Jim's gorgeous combs completely worthless. From a material standpoint, their grand gestures have resulted in total symmetrical failure.
But this is where the story reveals its true message. It's all about two different kinds of wealth. I mean, look at their material world. They're poor. They live in a shabby apartment. They're counting every last penny. But then you look at their emotional world, and they are the richest people alive. Their willingness to sacrifice their greatest treasures for each other, that was the real gift. The objects themselves, they never mattered at all.
A really powerful way to think about their love is with this analogy. It's like each of them taking off their only sweater in the freezing cold, just so they can unravel it and weave a bigger, warmer blanket for the other person. Yeah, they both end up exposed and cold for a moment, but in that shared sacrifice, they create this new, profound warmth together.
And this brings us to this amazing paradox, the wisdom of fools. See, from a purely logical, worldly point of view, what they did was, well, it was foolish, but O. Henry argues that their actions were, in fact, the wisest of all.
To get that wisdom, we have to look right at the title of the story. It isn't called The Perfect Sacrifice or Two Useless Gifts, it's called The Gift of the Magi. So who on earth were the Magi, and what do they have to do with this broke couple in New York City?
The Magi, of course, were the wise men from the very first Christmas story. They traveled a huge distance to bring these precious, symbolic gifts, gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And in doing that, they basically invented the whole tradition of giving gifts at Christmas, gifts chosen with deep thought and real reverence.
So that brings us right back to the big question. Why does O. Henry compare Jim and Della, who gave each other functionally useless presents, to these famously wise men? Why does he end the story by saying that of all the people who give gifts, these two were the wisest?
It's because their wisdom had absolutely nothing to do with the material world. Their wisdom was in their perfect, complete understanding of love.
Just like the original Magi, who brought their most precious treasures, Jim and Della gave the most precious things they had. They knew instinctively that the true spirit of giving isn't in the object you get. It's in the unconditional sacrifice that motivates.
So, what is it? What's the gift that never fades? What are the timeless lessons that make this story still hit so hard, more than 100 years after it was first written?
Well, the story really leaves us with a few core truths. First, that the real value of a gift has nothing to do with its price tag. It's about the love that's woven into it. Second, that true wealth isn't what's in our bank accounts, it's what's in our hearts. And finally, and maybe most importantly, the greatest gifts we can ever give are not things we can wrap in a box. They're the selfless actions that prove our love for one another.
So I'll leave you with the same question O. Henry's story has been asking all of us for over a century. In a world that's so focused on material things, what is it? What really makes a gift, any gift at all, truly priceless?